I proudly represent 44,000 federal employees and 2 to 3 times that in federal contractors here in Maryland's 3rd district. And we are acutely and disproportionately feeling the impacts of this government shutdown, but frankly, the impacts of many poor decisions from the White House over the last 10 plus months. In today's Calls with Your Congressman, I'm calling a labor leader near and dear to my heart, AFSCME, a group I've worked with in the state Senate, working very proudly with at the federal level. We have Wayne Enoch, who represents federal workers in DC and Northern Virginia out of AFSCME Council 20. Wayne, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm just going to jump right in if that's okay. My office is hearing a ton from federal workers, again, through the shutdown, but we've been hearing a lot from federal workers in the last 10 and a half months, people calling our office, people stopping me at the grocery store. What are you hearing from your members now that we are 20 plus days into the shutdown?
Thanks for having me today. Excuse me. Well, I'm hearing that federal workers want to get back to work. These aren't jobs that they're going to get rich off of. They do it because they like the work and they're passionate about serving the people in the community. But now they're not able to do that. And so they don't want to see Americans hurting because they aren't allowed to do their jobs. These are essential functions that they provide for the United States and other places. And they want to get back to doing the work. They don't want to be used as political pawns to be an excuse for not providing health care to Americans. And they see the community every day and they see the cost of living and how things are skyrocketing. Yeah. And so they want to get back to work and help and serve. And they want to end the shutdown, but they also want to end the healthcare crisis.
Right. And I think, you touched on a great point, and I love to remind folks that it's, my constituents, because I have so many federal employees in my district, and your members who are disproportionately impacted right now, and frankly, over this administration, but it's the services that they provide to the entirety of the American people that is also at risk right now. Services that taxpayers are paying for and expect, and very shortly will not be able to receive if we do not, to your point, reopen this government and reach a bipartisan budget deal that also does not sacrifice healthcare for tens of millions of Americans or continue to use, federal workers as political pawns here. So speaking of like my voice and my role here, what, from your members' perspective, do you think that members of Congress could be doing more or better to support federal workers in this moment?
Well, at this moment, people are struggling because they're not getting paid. So they need some assurance that when all of this is over and they do return to work, that there will be paychecks waiting for them so that they can get caught up on things or bills that they were missing during the furlough. They have to feed their families. They have to maintain their homes, and many may live paycheck to paycheck. Like I said, these aren't jobs that people are expecting to get rich off of. They're not multimillionaires, and they need to pay their bills and they need a place to stay. If the shutdown continues, their rent, their mortgages are going to escalate. It may change their interest rates on certain things because they've been late on stuff. So Congress should consider giving them housing assistance at a minimum to have a place to stay when they come back.
Right.
Any type of help that they could provide. We did a lawsuit with our brothers and sisters from AFGE. The court has already given us a temporary injunction to stop the government from firing people while they're out. It's only temporary, so we need your help with getting items like that legislated.
I completely agree. The president first threatening and then implementing these rifts during a shutdown, so utterly inappropriate. And to your point, I'm really grateful that the courts have at least temporarily shut that down. But we do need legislative legal protection moving forward to be explicit that federal workers cannot be fired during a shutdown. We already believe that's illegal,
Yeah.
but we should be doubling down on this, and it's why I'm trying to figure out, to your point about living paycheck to paycheck, like what are lessons we can learn from this shutdown moving forward to be more supportive of our federal workers. And Senator Alsobrooks and I have a bill, Help Feds Act, that and you know this because your members are experiencing it, but federal workers who are furloughed can apply for unemployment insurance during their furlough, but federal workers who were on the job, deemed essential right now cannot apply for that unemployment insurance. Unemployment insurance that they and I and you have all paid into our entire careers. So something that we are really trying to work on, and then I'll preview it here. We also thought up an idea today, just like during COVID, federal workers should have a reprieve on paying their student loans during a shutdown. Like, I don't know, I pay an exorbitant amount in student loans every month, and a lot of federal workers do too. And that's a really tough check to write during a shutdown without pay. So something we're thinking about as well. But I'd love your and your members' ideas as we hopefully get out of this shutdown soon.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you taking the time to even meet. Because some people, they feel like they would want to be connected with our legislative branch and see what we can do, and what we want you to hear from us, and we want to hear from you with the ideas that you have, like the student loan forbearance. So
I really appreciate it. And anytime your members want to chat or visit, I'd love to do that. I don't think I mentioned it here yet, but my parents were civil servants. So it's near and dear to my heart, the work that you all do. And, I think just to close us out, I represent so many, probably fifth or sixth most dense district in the Congress right now, but these are services. These are civil servants who provide services across this country. And so it is imperative we reopen the government. It's imperative the speaker calls us back to Washington. We cannot do that while we're scattered across the country. And I'm ready and willing to work with anybody who wants to work with me on that bipartisan budget deal that also makes sure that we are there for the healthcare for tens of millions of Americans. So thank you so much for joining me and having this important conversation. Thank you for representing everybody that you represent and being their voice during this tough time and all the time.
thank you again.
Okay, good to see you.
All right.